Well, welcome live with the Shaman. And as you can tell, I'm sure Facebook has lost its mind. Yep. I'm sitting here watching streaming speeds go up and down like a roller coaster. Well, there's a surprise, right? Like we've never seen that before. So, again, still some more, right? What are we talking about today? Well, here on Live with the Shaman, as many of you know, most of our conversation go hand in hand or included with the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Well, over this series, we've been talking about the tradition, what you can expect, what there is to look at within the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. And today's no different. Today we're going to be talking about some of the things that a first year might experience. Now, first year training first year training varies. Okay? First year training is determined mostly by your teacher. Now I can tell you me personally, my first years they oath to the same tradition I do. And that can be found on the Open Grove of the Celtic Shaman page, which if you'd like the link, I'm happy to post it here. In fact, I think it is posted on the Live with the Shaman page. Yeah. So when you're when you're looking at what your first year is gonna kind of be, well, as a first year, it's a trial by fire, more or less. It's a trial by experiences of accepting where you've been. Now, let me explain that a little bit. Um, as a first year in the GCS, and you're following your dedicated oath, you're working with your teacher to hopefully learn what it is to be a shaman within the grove. You've already got the idea in the back of your head what a shaman is. The things that we set out to teach you within your first year is how to live with that, how to live with the anger, how to live with the anxieties. What do you do with all that energy that you have no place to put? Anger management. Understanding that it's okay to be who you are, to have a little bit different um, moral compass than some. And also, one of the other things that shamans do is we tend to be very stuck in our ways. We tend to be very hard headed, um, strong willed, hard spirited people. Now, there is a boatload of other things that go along with being shaman. You just simply tend to kind of know what you are. But how do you work with it? What do you do with it? What is the training that's required to go with it? I have people that come in, they get pissed off because you're not teaching me how to be a shaman. Well, if you're a shaman, you already know how to be shaman. You need to learn how to live as a shaman within the confines of, and like we discussed earlier in the Open Pagan Church broadcast, within boundaries and respect, right? And one of the things I'm going to show you here in a minute is written in the tradition called the Shaman Code of Ethics. And these are ethics that are hard to live by. They are. I'm not going to lie to you. The Shaman Code of Ethics is not the easiest thing in the world there is to live by. And that's okay. They're not supposed to be. Also, we'll be going over some of the trials and tribulations, the expectations of an oath first year. Now, if you're watching the live broadcast on Facebook, um, bandwidth speeds are throttling not real well. So if it becomes unwatchable, by all means watch the uploaded pre-recorded version over on the Celtic Shaman um, YouTube page. That's where we keep our archives. Hi, Cindy. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Break off into the Shaman Code of Ethics and looking at, I'm going to look at the streaming here. Yeah, okay, it's clear. All right, so up at the top, I will protect and guide to the best of my ability with no harm to another. Alright, let me flip back over here and tell you guys, okay, that does not mean we follow the Wiccan creed of harm none, do as you will. No, no. It's not harm none, do as you will. That's Wicca. In this tradition, we say, I will protect and guide to the best of my ability with no harm to another. In other words, we don't set out to harm people. We don't set out to hurt people. However, however, in reality, you cannot live life without hurting someone. You just can't. If anybody, anywhere, for any reason thinks that you can live life without hurting someone accidentally, you are sadly mistaken. You're off your trolley and you've lost your mind. It just doesn't happen. We strive not to set out to hurt others. I want not for which is not mine to want. In other words, I will want not that which is not mine to want. What that means is I'm not going to try to take from someone else that which is not mine. I will strive to do better. I will strive to have the things in life, the nice things in life that I want. But I'm not going to be jealous of what someone else has, that which I do not. The next line. I will never use my powers to seduce, coerce, or enslave any being in this or other worlds. Now, I will not use my powers to seduce, coerce, or enslave any beings in this or other worlds. Understand that shamans have the ability and the power to traverse the planes. We traverse astral just as if we were getting in a car to drive to the grocery store. We can bounce between veils and between worlds. Typically, all we have to do is knock on the veil door and we're in. There are some worlds we can just simply fly over the veil. However, we should always respect those veils of those other worlds. So what this means is I'm not going to try to coerce or seduce anyone into living, believing, or thinking the way I think they should. Contrary to what some people may believe, I don't do that. I haven't done that. And I don't want to do that. This is not something that we practice. Is it doable? Absolutely. Do shamans do it? Some do. We do not. And if a shaman within my grove does that, myself, Cindy, or Clint need to know it quickly. Right. Okay, this is a little bit of fluff. I will strive to love all. I will strive to speak the truth. This set right here, I will strive to love all and I will strive to speak the truth. Okay. Herein comes a little bit of a caveat or a little bit of a problem, I guess you could say. I'm going to strive to love you for who and what you are. I'm going to respect you for who and what you are. I will strive to speak the truth. In other words, I'm not going to walk up to you and say, I happen to think you're an ugly son of a bitch. I'm not going to walk up to you and just simply say, I can't stand you, or I think you're complete and utter full of shit. I'm going to respect who and what you are. I'm going to respect who and what you say you are. Now, yeah, Cindy says, that is hard these days. Absolutely. However, keep in mind, if you ask me my opinion, if you ask me what I think, if you ask me how I feel, I'm going to tell you. Any one of my shamans in my grove are going to tell you. It's just the way we are. Right. Onward and upward. Okay. This one, very, very important. I will strive never to influence anyone to do that which is illegal or dishonorable. I will strive never to influence anyone to do anything which is illegal or dishonorable. In other words, I do realize I do realize that shamans love to partake in mind altering drugs. I do realize that most shamans do like to smoke a little 420, smoke a little weed. That's fine. That's up to you. However, in this grove, we do not condone that. However, we are perfectly fine with cannabis being used for health reasons. We are well aware of the different psychotropic drugs, if you will, and some of the ways they can help people. That is between you, your law, in whatever state or part of the world in which you live if you're watching our videos. This is between you and the rules and laws and regulations within your part of the world. This grove will never influence you to break those laws or do anything of that nature. I will strive to allow every created thing to be itself. I will strive to bring healing to all who wish it. I will strive to allow every created thing to be itself, and I will strive to bring healing to all that wish it. Now, understand what this line here means. I'm not going to heal you or set out to heal you or set out to make you okay against your will. I'm not going to set out to try to do magic on you, for you, or against you one way or the other. This one gets a lot of people in trouble. I will strive to speak words of wisdom where there is reason to be spoken, to be spoken to the confused. In other words, when we've got these people that right, and he says, ask to heal first. What this means is we get a lot of people come in where our phrases, our words, our ideas, our beliefs may not make sense. But someone, yes, someone that is lost, someone that is asking for guidance, we will do our best to guide them. You don't have to be shaman for us to help you find the words that might best explain who and what you are. It's um, it's not our intent to confuse you. Okay, these last three or four lines right here are serious pet peeves of mine. I have had to deal with this more times than not. I have had to curve people's fear and paranoia. I've had to curve people's encouragement of fear and paranoia. And then last but not least, I will strive to be who I am and not be who I am not. However, this section right here, so many people quickly forget. It says again, I will not encourage others to indulge in fear and paranoia. What that means is, to those of you thinking about becoming first years within the HOP, you're not actually in the grove until you are a priest or priestess. I'll say that again. Even though your teacher may have you oath to the tradition, which is what I do, and I train within that tradition, it's just by far easier that way. I will nail your proverbial ass to the wall if I catch you out there inducing fear, inducing paranoia. In other words, getting in the stirring of the crap and the chaos that so often happens in communities, especially pagan communities. People like to tend to go other places and run their mouth about other groves, groups, and covens, and that is not allowed, nor is it tolerated in the grove of the Celtic shaman. So if you're thinking about becoming a first year in the GCS, and you're one of those types of people that likes paranoia, and you're one of those people that likes to stir crap, I assure you, we will nail your ass to the wall in this grove if you do that, if you indulge in that. See. Okay, so, hiya, welcome, Tasha. All right, so I want to explain some things. Tasha popping in kind of reminded me. I want to kind of explain some things real quick. You don't have to be shaman to interact with our broadcast. You don't have to be shaman to interact and ask questions of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Um, I do run things a little different on this broadcast than I do on the Open Pagan Church broadcast. We are an adult oriented channel. I am liable to tell someone to piss off in a heartbeat, and I am more relaxed and more out there on our channel here on Live with the Shaman. Welcome, welcome aboard. We're going through the tradition right now. Those of you that are watching our broadcast for the first time, today we're talking about what a first year in training may have to do. We're going through the tradition, some of the rite of the tradition. And if you'd like to take a look at our tradition, you're welcome to. It's open for everybody to look at. Just drop me a line and I'll send you the link to it. You're welcome to it. Also, the Open GCS on Facebook is open to all. You don't have to be shaman to ask questions. Right, here we go. So, what you can expect in ranking, right? In ranking as a first year of a Celtic shaman, well, understand that ranking is done by trial by fire. Trial by fire. Trial by fire. Yes, well, okay, folks, let me explain this one. Trial by fire. That doesn't mean I'm going to force you to get barefoot and walk along the coals of a fire. Trial by fire is life. Life every day, all day. is a trial by fire. Now, when we cross new students to the GCS, yes, we do have you cross a fire if we have a fire to cross. So much nowadays with long distance training, remote training, taking students that may not live in the same area as we do. When they oath to the tradition, I have them step over a candle. It's sometimes the best we can do. If I happen to have a student that actually has a fire pit that is safe for them to step across, I strongly recommend that they wear flame retardant clothing. And I damn sure wouldn't recommend that you try to cross a fire in a silk outfit. That could be rather dangerous. Common sense, yes. Common sense is a big thing. Um, you should try some. Good to have. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so ranking ranking is done by your teacher, right? From your first year all the way up to your priesthood. Now, um, okay, people make mistakes, right? This right here, if your teacher sees fit to put you on restrictions, um, teach you a particular way, or have you do things that, may not particularly forms or the practice with your craft, that's up to them, okay? Understand that understand that the Grove of the Celtic Shaman is set up so that first years are taught under the tutelage of the teacher. That means that myself, though I am the founder of the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, Cindy is one of the ranking, um, actually the ranking master of the Grove. Clint is a second master under Cindy, and yeah. So, even if you're a high priest, high priestess, if you're a priest or priestess within the grove, you have your students. And you teach your students the way you see fit within the boundaries of the tradition to a degree. Now, however, if your student, now listen to me closely, those of you that are thinking about maybe becoming first years within the grove, if your teacher is bullying you, if your teacher is not teaching you, if your teacher is just doing wrong by you, you can come to me or one of the masters of the grove and let us know what's going on. Now, we'll tell you, Facebook's tripping again. Ah, there it is. I will tell you that if you come to us whining, that's right, Lucy is an HP. If you come to us whining and you come to us going, wah, 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 poor, 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 pitiful me, I am liable to look at you and say, look, grow up, reach down and pull up, your big person pants and let's get on with it. If you have a problem with your teacher, you need to sit them down and talk to them. Now, if you're not able to talk to your teacher for whatever reason, myself or one of the other masters of the grove, we are quite welcome to call a meeting between you and your teacher, and we'll get to the bottom of it. Because if your teacher is oath to the tradition, then they should be teaching within this. However, I'm not going to look at Cindy or Clint or Lucy, for that matter, and say, you can't teach your first years that way. However, if a teacher presents you the first year to the grove as a priest or priestess, it is up to the grove leadership to acknowledge you as that level. So your teacher will present you. You can petition the GCS all you want, and we're going to say no. Sorry, you need to go through your teacher if you want to petition the Grove. We are disciplinarians. Some would say we are assholes. We don't try to be assholes, but we are disciplinarians. We do believe that you should be who and what you say you are. So, right. What are some of the trials we go through? What are some of the things we have to go through to um, to be a first year? Let's see. Okay, Tasha, that is a really good question, and this is kind of actually going to be covered, but that's good. You should ask that. She says, "What are your thoughts of cross training for knowledge purposes?" And I like the way she put that, for knowledge purposes, in there. I believe that all of my students should cross train, well, not necessarily cross train, okay, but become educated in all of the paths within the pagan philosophy. I tell all of my students, yes, learn, understand witchcraft, understand the difference between Wicca and witchcraft. Learn and understand the basics of Fae, Druid, of of all of the different pagan philosophies out there. Now, understand that, and Tasha may disagree with me a little bit, and that's fine, but Luciferianism is actually a Christian philosophy. Lucifer was developed by the Christian philosophy and the Christian stories. Hecate, on the other hand, is an ancient Celtic goddess. Now, can you incorporate the two? Well, it's not up to me to tell you you can't, right? I'm just saying. But my philosophy on cross training, I think it's a good idea. In fact, I think we should all do it. I know that I do it. Cindy did it for quite a while. Cindy did actually end up having to be forced to make a choice, mind you. But I do recommend that you become educated in as many possible paths as you can. However, never lose sight of your primary path. And some people will do this. They will become confused because there are things that shamans do that are real close to in line as the Wiccas, the witches, the druids, the fae. I mean, we're all pagan. After all, we're all pagan. Okay? And I do draw the line in the sand when it comes to Christian pagan. Sorry, I just draw the line when it comes to Christian pagan. Um, the bare definition of the two um, says that can't happen. So um, I'll let Cindy and Tasha have that conversation. Yeah, y'all have fun. So some of the I got derailed. The first trial as a first year, there are a set of books that I have all of my first years read. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you right now, those books that I have my first years read have absolutely nothing to do with shamanism. Absolutely. In fact, I ban my first years from being able to read shaman books. I don't want you reading shaman books. There's a million of them. I want you learning you. I want my first years to learn who and what you are, not what someone else may say you are. And one of the biggest trials, that trial by fire, if you will, you have to learn to deal with your anger and your anxieties, your fears. Okay, shamans, shamans, when we're first starting out, and even after we've been in a while, we tend to question everything we do. We analyze to the nth degree. We analyze things down to the atom. We want to understand what formed the atom and how the atom formed itself. We have to learn to accept things that we don't know, things that we don't understand. As a first year shaman, you have to realize it's okay to say, I don't know. And one of the other big trials as a first year is we have to learn to accept our own humanity. As a first year, I have found that a whole lot of shamans don't want to accept their own humanity. Most shamans come into it thinking they're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. You are not. I am not. You will soon learn you're not 10 foot tall and bulletproof. So, what you truly, really have to understand, simplistically put, is take it for what it is. I sent my first years through a self awareness trial. For the first 4 to 6 months of their training, we're going through a self awareness trial. We do a lot of counseling, we do a lot of digging, we do a lot of digging in the past. And if a shaman is going to work with counseling and helping others, a shaman first has to realize their own weaknesses. They first have to understand where they're from, what's going on in their past, and what's sneaking up on them to cause them problems. So, as a first year, within that first year oath, you're going to be doing a lot of soul research, if you will. Researching yourself, researching your own soul, finding out who you are. So, generally, once we've gotten past that, within the first year, we're starting to deal with our anger, we're starting to deal with our own fears, our own self worth, our own soul searching, our own soul retrieval, if you will. Doesn't necessarily mean your soul is lost. It just simply means you need to reel it in, you need to pull it together and learn who you are. Like I say, my first years are required to read a set of books that have nothing to do with shamanism, but it has everything to do with dealing with your past, finding out who you are, and finding out where you're going, and being able to draw the parallel of life examples and things that happen in life, being able to draw those parallels with you. Being able to reach into stories and find out things that may mean something to you. But what that means for you is not only does counsel tend to send you people to help, but they're also going to send you people to help that are also going to help you by you helping them. Now, if you missed part of that, by all means hit rewind and listen to it again. It does get a little confusing. So, the first 3 to 6 months is where I lose most of my students. That's where all of us lose most of our students, is in the first 3 to 6 months, because you don't step right off into it doing what shamans do. No. In fact, you spend the first year almost under restrictions. Now, you'll learn within your first year, you'll learn how to cast a circle, call a Sabbath, raise energy. but that comes in your senior student tree, not in the first 3 to 6 months of your training. And that irritates some people. Can't help it. It's what it is. And it's the way we train. The reason is, I say again, because you have to be able to live with you. If you can't, you're not going to be able to help anyone else as shaman. So there's not a whole lot left for the first year. The first year learns the Sabbaths, of course. We take you through what the Council of Nine is and how they work. We take you through the trials and tribulations of the Council of Nine. The Council of Nine is the five elements and the four cardinal points. Sorry, my little finger. The four cardinal points and the five elements. Now you will go through the trials of each one of those. What that means is you'll go through north, which is positive energy. You'll go through the trials of positive energy. You'll go through east, the enlightenment, the understanding of the sun, what the sun means to us, what it does for us. You'll go through the training of the south, the dealing with your negative energy, the dealing with the negativity of your life and what happened to you in the past. You'll deal with the darkness, the west. You'll deal with the setting sun, the rising of the moon, what the moon sister does for us, what she means to us. And then, of course, the elemental training. We, as in shaman, we do not have elements combined with cardinal points. We use, yes, spirit is in north, but we don't use spirit as north or north as spirit. Spirit is called separately. And then we have, of course, earth, air, fire, water, okay, so on and so forth. But you'll go through each training of each one of those to learn to deal with what they are, what they mean, who they are, how they work, how we use them in circle. It's daunting. It's daunting as hell. That's the reason we call the first year the trial by fire. It really can be daunting as hell, but it's worth it. The end goal really is worth it. Well, so what I'd like to do is I'd like, for you to post your questions about the first year. Send me messages. Send Cindy, Clint, any of us messages about the first year. Post them on Live with the Shaman. Come over to the Open Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Feel free to ask your questions if you want. We'd look forward to hearing from you by all means. Definitely subscribe. Ask questions. Like, dislike. If you dislike, tell us why. We'd love to see you. So I'll give you back to your Sunday, or I'll give you back to whatever it was you were doing. Thank you for watching. Have a great day and enjoy life. Thank you for watching Live with a Shaman. We'll see you next week right here.